G'day folks, this is my full review of the Skydio 2. Now I'm a little bit late getting this review out. This drone's actually been out for a couple months now, and that's for a couple different reasons. First of all, it's winter here in Canada, so my flying opportunities are limited, but I really wanted to take my time with this review for the Skydio 2. It's a completely different drone than anything really that's out on the market. I really wanted to fly it in scenarios how I normally fly my drones, not just put it up and test it out. I really wanted to fly it how I normally fly my drones when capturing content for myself. And to cut right to the chase, I love this drone. This is by far my favorite drone on the market to date. Now there are a few issues with it, and we'll get into that as we go along in the review. So let's just jump right in and take a look. So as I stated, I love this drone. I have been super happy with it. I just want to mention here that I'm not a person who is going to really make use of the follow me feature. This review is more geared to using this as a regular drone, capturing cinematic footage, capturing landmarks, different things like that. There's no really activities that I do where I would need to follow myself. Now, if you're watching this review, chances are you've watched many reviews and maybe you have your eye on the Skydio and are thinking about purchasing one. You'll notice that all the reviews that are out there, they're kind of all over the place. Some people love it, some people dislike it. A lot of reviews are saying that this is only good for people who want to film sports, action kind of people, and I couldn't really disagree with that more. I think this drone is perfect for everyday use. It is true this drone is a great follow me drone, it's one of its features, but really having a drone follow you around is nothing new. Drones have been able to do that for years, and for the most part they've always done it well. However, what really makes this drone stand out from the rest of them is its autonomy and its obstacle avoidance. I love getting in and getting nice slow shots through a forest, maybe along a riverbed, and if you have flown a drone in that kind of situation, you know it can be quite stressful. And sometimes you don't get the shots you want just because you're worried about maybe hitting a tree branch. With a drone like this, you can confidently go in and get the shots you want and not have to worry about hitting those types of obstacles. Now, there is a limit to what this drone can see with its obstacle avoidance. I think on the Skydio website it lists as half-inch. It does state on there to watch for telephone wires, electrical wires, and small branches. But for the kind of filming I do when you're flying slow enough, it can even see those really small branches and avoid them. Now, of course, YouTube is full of videos of these things crashing, and you have to remember that they are not crash proof. Skydio does have a fairly good warranty on it that if you do crash it under normal circumstances, they will replace it, but they do have a fact about what's covered under warranty and what's not. And specifically, it does state in there, like I said, telephone wires, and a lot of the crashes that we've seen, it's because it's hit telephone wires. It's definitely not a good idea to fly this thing, especially when in autonomous mode around wires. If you're flying it manually with the controller, then of course you can fly a little bit more confidently because you can keep it away from the wires. Unlike the original Skydio R1, this one now does come with a remote, and they have a device called the beacon. The beacon is useful for many different scenarios. When the drone is tracking you visually, if it happens to lose sight of you, say you go behind a tree, it can still continue to follow the GPS signal. Once you're no longer obstructed, it will then lock back onto you. You can control many aspects of the drone with the beacon. You can change its flight behavior, the angle at which it's following you, the height, the distance, plus you can send it off to do a quick droney just with a touch of a button. The other benefit of using the beacon is you can just extend the range of the drone when flying it with your smartphone. If you're flying the Skydio with just a smartphone, the range is not very good at all. Like, you'll be lucky to get 100 meters out, maybe 150 meters out before it becomes disconnected. If you let the Skydio connect to the beacon and then connect your smartphone to the beacon's Wi-Fi signal, you can now put the beacon in your pocket and fly the drone with just your smartphone and have a lot better range. But ideally, if you want to fly this drone like a traditional drone, you are going to want to pick up a controller. The controller that is available for the Skydio is just a rebranded paired Anafi controller. Now, the firmware that's loaded into the controller is specific to the Skydio, so you can't use this to fly your Anafi if you have one of them as well. Now, the controller is not one of the best ones on the market by any stretch of the imagination. And what I mean by that is that it does feel a little bit cheap. The sticks are not maybe as precise as something like a DJI drone. They're very short, and that's where you can run into some issues if you're trying to get very precise movements. I do find it comfortable to hold, and it does function as it should. The other problem with it is that the range is not the best. Now, I've done a fair amount of flying with it, and it's acceptable. It's no different than any other Wi-Fi drone on the market, but definitely it does not have the range as something like the Mavic 2 Pro. And really, it is a shame about the remote because the Skydio drone is built beautifully. It's so nicely engineered. The software, the capabilities of it are just super impressive. It would have been nice to have just as an impressive remote to go along with it. Now, some people have made comments that they think that the remote was an afterthought. Personally, I don't think that was the case. Why they chose to go with the Anafi controller and not develop their own, nobody really knows that except for Skydio. The reason I think adding a remote was not an afterthought is because with the Skydio R1, one of the biggest complaints of it is that there was no controller. That was one thing that everybody asked for. So when the folks at Skydio sat down to start developing the Skydio 2, I'm pretty sure having a remote was pretty high on their priority list. Now, long before they even released the Skydio 2, just after it was announced, they were releasing teaser videos, and they were also demonstrating it to law enforcement and first responders about how great it is for search and rescue. In order for it to be a search and rescue tool, it has to have a remote. So those are reasons why I don't think that a remote was an afterthought. But again, why they didn't develop their own, who knows? Maybe they did start developing one and they ran into problems, or perhaps there is one coming. Maybe there's one in the pipeline, something like the Smart Controller. It just wasn't ready to go yet. Now, going back to the range issue, if you follow any of the Skydio Facebook groups, you'll see that Skydio did file a new application to extend the range of the Skydio. But that is definitely interesting, and we could see some improved range very shortly. But again, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not one that usually flies very far from where I'm standing. So having a drone that can be out 7 kilometers is not really super important to me. Now, for some, I know it is important. So if that is a top priority for you, probably this is not the best drone. The video quality on this drone is actually very good. And I think many people would have a hard time if you put some Mavic 2 Zoom or even some Mavic 2 Pro footage against the Skydio footage. You'd have a hard time picking out which one was which. And that's why I say this drone is a good everyday drone. It captures amazing footage. You can get just as good cinematic footage with this as you can with something like a Mavic. I know there might be some people that disagree with that statement, but at the end of the day, we all have opinions. We all fly things differently. And for the most part, that's my opinion. I think it is a fantastic drone. We're just heading into spring and flying season is just about to kick off here in Canada. And I know probably 90% of the time this is the drone I'm going to be flying with this summer. Now, the app for the Skydio 2 is okay. I haven't had any problems with it. They do offer a lot of smart flight features, but it could do with some work, maybe some polish. But at the end of the day, I really can't complain with it because it does work the way it needs to work. And I haven't really noticed any problems. When the drone was first released, they didn't have any telemetry data in the app, but they have since released an update that does include telemetry. Now, another interesting feature about this drone is that the batteries are held in magnetically, and they're able to do that because there is no compass in this drone, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. The batteries go on and off very quickly, and I haven't had any problems with them coming loose or falling off. Now, on YouTube, there are some videos where the Skydio has crashed, and you'll see the battery become disconnected when it hits the ground. And reading through the comments, you'll see people think that's a flaw. But really, if your drone is hitting the ground from a high altitude, having the battery come disconnected is the least of your worries. If anything, that's more of a bonus. That should limit the amount of damage done to the battery. Anything that can move when it's about to take an impact tends to help absorb the impact and reduce damage. So to me, that's not a bad thing at all. So going back to the compass, this drone doesn't use a compass for navigation like traditional drones. It has its own built-in autonomy engine. And that's why you're able to use magnetics on it. Even the ND filters for it can just clip on magnetically. And that's a real time saver when out in the field. You never have to calibrate a compass with this drone, which to me is really nice. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but sometimes you want to get up and flying quickly. You're trying to capture something. And then, of course, the drone sometimes will tell you that you have to calibrate the compass. You don't have to worry about magnetic interference with the compass. If you try to take off from a vehicle, the roof of your car maybe, sometimes concrete has metal in it, that can really affect your compass, and sometimes you'll get errors. And not only that, flying around large metal objects can sometimes throw the drone off. For example, here you can see that I'm flying through this steel metal bridge. I would definitely not try this with one of my DJI drones, just for the fact that you can see that there's all kinds of obstacles around me. I just would not feel comfortable putting a DJI drone through that. But with the Skydio, there's no problem at all. And again, because you won't have that magnetic interference, you don't have to worry about the drone going haywire. So there's a lot of really nice features about this drone that do make it a good everyday drone. But before you make any kind of decision about this drone, there are a few things that you do need to consider. First of all, like I already talked about, the transmission distance isn't the greatest. Now, another big issue with this drone, and that may change down the road with a firmware update, but currently you can't fly it at night. If you try to take off at night, it'll give you a warning saying that it's too dark. And they do that because when it's dark, it can't use its visual navigation to fly. So if you're a person who likes to fly at night, definitely not a drone for you. Now, another thing to keep in mind too is accessories. Now, because Skydio is a smaller company, there's not a lot of third-party manufacturers making accessories and parts for it. And that also goes to availability. For example, if you need new props, you have to order them from the Skydio website. You can't hop on something like Amazon and order them. You can't walk into your local Best Buy and get them. So if Skydio happens to go out of stock of something, you have to wait for it to come back into stock. You can't just go to another retailer and purchase them. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. Now, the last thing I want to talk about here is the batteries. I'm pretty happy with the battery life. It's not the longest lasting battery on the market when it comes to drones, but for the most part they do well. You can get over a 20-minute solid flight with them. But what I am worried a little bit about with the original Skydio R1, if you happen to purchase it and you need a new battery for it, Skydio doesn't make them anymore and they don't sell them anymore. So you're stuck trying to buy maybe secondhand ones online. So that's kind of in the back of my mind too. If Skydio releases a Skydio 3 next year, are they going to stop selling the batteries for the Skydio 2? Due to this one's popularity, I don't think they will. They should continue to offer them. But that is always something to consider, considering they no longer sell the ones for the R1. Now, one other issue with this drone, and it is an issue for some, it hasn't been an issue for me as of yet, is that it's not as portable as something like the Mavic Air or the Mavic 2 Pro. It doesn't fold up, however, if you look at it, it is very thin, so it does fit into most backpacks without too much of a problem. The little case that is included with this will actually fit into a GoPro Seeker. Now, I'm just using the GoPro Seeker as a reference because the GoPro Seeker backpack is not very big. The drone and the case that comes with it fit inside that with no issue. And lastly, the thing that could prevent a lot of people from purchasing this drone is availability. If you've had your eye on this drone, you know that there's a long waiting list for them. If you go online to purchase them today, chances are you're not going to see one till summertime, maybe end of summer even. Now, of course, that could be even longer now with what's going on in the world, or it could even be sooner if they somehow ramp up production. But definitely here in Canada, like I said, we're heading into flying season and a lot of northern US. There could be a lot of people wanting to get their first drone for the summertime, perhaps maybe upgrade what they're currently flying. And definitely non-availability is going to be a deciding factor for many. But definitely, if you do have one on order and you're in the waiting list, do not cancel your order. You're going to love this drone. I love this thing. This is probably my favorite technology right now on the market. I would love to see a company like DJI implement some of this technology onto their drones. So yeah, folks, that's basically it. That's my review of the Skydio 2. That's been my user experience with the Skydio 2. I love this thing, and I can't wait to get out and fly, maybe even this afternoon. If you have any questions about the Skydio 2, feel free to ask me down below in the comments. I'll try and answer them as quickly as possible. If you want to learn more about the Skydio 2, head over to their webpage at skydio.com. Like I stated, they're not available on Amazon or any other stores at this point in time. I want to thank you for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.